water's coming up over the causeway here. And hang on a second. Over here. Right now we're at the North Hutchinson Island. Right now is where we're located. Right here, right. Vero Beach. Right. Get a little bit of overwash here. Got a high tide right now. This is Vero Beach, and we're near high tide right now. So this is the the water's rising, but this is again we're at high tide. Yeah, look how much. I was out here last night. The sand was way out here. It's taken up at least 20 foot of the bank away, and just large battery waves. This is going to be all the way. We just got full fluid. You can run it. Yeah. So this will slowly drop as the high tide gets done. Whoa, look at that. Oh, at the top. Water washed out. This is just above the bottom of the hill here, starting to but expected here. Right. See the water's going underneath yeah, it won't hit until after midnight tonight. I do expect it to be a strong Cat 1. The satellite in the last couple hours, it's starting to get very dense overcast. It held about 980 millibars overnight, and it's the hurricane. Expect to be a hurricane probably real close to noon, if not right after noon. And then it got very dense, heavy overcast now. The new convection is exploding near the center, and so it will get upgraded to a hurricane. I think we're going to have a strong Cat 1, borderline Cat 2 as it makes landfall. But right now the official is Cat 1. It's going to be every bit as Cat 1. Got a little bit of breeze. Got debris hitting here. Some of the steps are broken. Some of the steps down the coast here. You can see the on again. We're still about 16 hours away. We're at high tide, so the water's going to be naturally higher than normal right now. This is at Vero Beach. Boom! Look at that. It's washing over. It's really hot right now. I'm on a little pier. I'm on this little pier here. Around the waves hit here. This whole thing is vibrating. The ground is just vibrating really crazy. She's bringing things up. That's like looking at the falling. The guys are doing this. Anyway, you can see that waves are just large and battery waves. And then again, this goes all the way up to the Georgia coast, all the way down the east coast of Florida. You have these really large destructive battery waves all up and down the coast. Remember, right now this is only a tropical storm, and it's doing massive damage as far as beach erosion. It's doing major damage all along the eastern seaboard here. For hundreds of miles, this is what's going on. You got the beaches are, I can tell you, it's cut back at least 10 to 20 feet overnight in this area. I mean, the sand was way out here last night. I was here on this exact spot, and we had sand all the way out here, and it's really just taking a pounding overnight this morning, and it's just even being all the way back to the bowl now. This is the little circle here in Vero Beach area, and we've got some restaurants here, but again, this is all going on. This is high tide, so as a high tide, as we drop lower, then the waves, the water will go down in height. But I can tell you that this is just the beginning. This is a tropical storm, and I do expect it to go to hurricane later this afternoon. We'll have a hurricane maybe late this morning, and I can tell you on satellite, it's looking way better on satellite this morning. We will have a hurricane. But again, this is going to get way worse, okay? The water's going to continue to rise, and we're going to have a storm surge. We're going to be flooding along the creeks and streams with some of the debris and bands. And we've had, these waves are really eating away the coast today. Again, the wind's probably 35, and at times I can tell you already this morning when we have just even a rain shower comes in, like right now, it's a rain shower. We had a little 3 mile by 3 mile kind of a heavy downpour back south of here about 30 minutes ago, and we had a little 4 mile by 4 mile heavy 45 degrees heat hit me. It literally the wind started gusting to 50, 55 as soon as these little rain surges was having some maybe even 70 miles an hour at about 3,000 to 5,000 feet. These heavy rain bands, when they move in, that heavier wind will come to the ground. You'll get this burst, a real quick burst of 30 to 50, and it'll happen. Look at this. Whoa! Look at the overwash on that, guys. My goodness. Wow, did you see that? Wow. And this is a Vero Beach. Look at these massive waves now. My goodness. The waves are getting larger. Wow, that was really, you see it's ate all the way down to the, this is going to be the wall here, the concrete is some part of it, and it's even underneath it now. It's undermining even at times all the sand. Try to get some AirPods in. I don't know if that'll help me. Charge those. Hang on a second. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. Yep. Oh. So we're inside the car here. So right here, basically in the Vero Beach area right here is where we're out on the coastline right now. And all the way up and down the coast, obviously hurricane warning. You're going to have all the way from Georgia, south of Charleston, all the way down to Jacksonville, all Daytona Beach, all the way down to Melbourne, and all the way down here at West Palm. You have these large battering waves, and it's all up and down the coast. It's already ongoing. And of course, we have a hurricane warning. And right now, you can see the heavier bands are starting to make their way on shore, but the conditions will rapidly deteriorate as these heavier bands move on shore. And that's going to be a little bit later. They're moving to the southwest. They're about 50, 60 miles an hour. But as these heavier bands come in, especially start getting out here, we start getting these heavier bands, the winds will pick up as the day goes on, right? So let's look at the official forecast here. Let me go to NHC's forecast. Hang on a second here. We'll bring these up. Let's go to burn threat net. Give me a second here. So, just looking at my wave. These are my wave heights. Port St. Lucie. Just to give you an idea. So right now, let's see what my max is here. Yep. Clear that. Clear. Give me just a second here. So basically, I'm just gonna pull up. Let's go to wave heights. There we go. Yep, marine zone, NHC track. There we go. Okay. So basically, what we have is, of course, Nicole it's getting just east of Hopetown right now. Is a strong tropical storm, pressure about 980 millibars. Expected to be Cat 1 as we get into noon today time frame, and this is like at 1 in the morning. Okay, should be make landfall about midnight. So one of the things I'll show you is that out here ahead of it, all over this area, we've got big 25 and greater seas. If you'll notice a grading here along the coastline, it'll build. The seas will get larger and larger during the day. Some of the bigger seas are just now starting to arrive along the coastline, but these are just going to be a little bit, a little bit later before you see, got 20 foot just off coast here, 25. But you'll see these big, large battering waves are approaching the coast right now, right? And they're just going to get larger and larger as this thing intensifies. These waves will get larger, so you're going to have even more destruction all along the coastline, even a Cat 1, because these waves will get larger larger. As the hurricane intensifies, these waves will get up to 35, 45 feet just offshore, and you may have close to 25 feet coming onshore as we get toward tonight's landfall, right? So anyway, just large battering waves. See these large, huge swells go all the way up to near Charleston, Brunswick, all the way to Jacksonville Beach, all the way to Daytona Beach has been getting hammered all night long. Titusville, Milburn, all the way down to Vero Beach, Fort Pierce, in West Palm. So you're going to have these large battering waves all night long, all day today, and then tonight, and then tomorrow, as this thing goes out north of Tampa Bay. They've got a Storm Prediction Center's got a 5% tornado risk today over the eastern side of Florida. I think that's going to verify. And then tomorrow it looks like this area back up to the northeast here, up in the southeast Georgia and northeast Florida looks like it's going to have a pretty intense tornado day tomorrow. So I'm going to probably be chasing tornadoes tomorrow up in this area. It looks very prime for tornadoes. A few more significant tornadoes I expect tomorrow because the conditions are very favorable with this thing making landfall and then taking off track to the northeast. That it will create a very great environment for for tornado production, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Go outside. Let me see if I can get my AirBuds to switch over and see if we can't get that to see if it helps the wind. It probably won't. The wind is just relentless outside, guys. It's like crazy. Just a second here. The wind's going to be crazy, guys, when we get out here. So we're just past high tide, or passing high tide as we speak. I'm trying to keep my head out of the wind here. See, just a little bit all the wash, not too bad. We got a little bit of debris up here, some rocks and what have you. But again, this is just getting this past high tide, so. Gotta watch out for the coconuts up here falling too. You know, gotta watch when you park your car because they start falling out of the tree. I've seen that a few times as well. You get that little situation falling, but you get things falling. You gotta watch. It's amazing how much of the beach. It's amazing how much of the beach has been eroded away. It's just crazy, right? Oh, we got a big one here. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Nice. Like I say, as you can see, okay, they got another concrete wall underneath it. So you got a concrete slab and then another concrete wall underneath it, which makes sense. But again, all along the coast here, you've got these large battering waves all day. It's amazing how just literally like 20 yards off the from the steps here, the waves are probably they're probably 10 feet. Look at these. That's just a huge wave. Look at that. It's amazing how these large battering waves. And the other thing that's kind of very hadn't seen this in a while in some of these tropical systems. When this is definitely one of them that's said it was going to happen. Is how fast the waves are coming in, how the frequency of waves, these large battering waves. So it's not like each hurricane tropical storm is different on wave action and wave period, how often get these waves hitting the coast. This one, since yesterday, all down the coast, you'll see you got a wave and then you got another wave. They're really relentless as far as how many waves and how fast they're hitting the coastline, right? They're just pretty intense. And it's been this way ever since yesterday. But the waves, I think today, it's these things that, cat 1, low cat 1, high cat 1, low cat 2, whatever it is, right? And the story, when it's all said and done, is going to be the amount of damage along the eastern coast here of Florida and Georgia for these large battery waves taking out these, the beaches here and the sand dunes. That's going to be, especially some piers and some water's going to get in some buildings up and down the coast. Go to high tide, low tide this afternoon, high tide later tonight, and then about the time of landfall, there's a big storms just got wet. Just got wet. But anyway, you can see that's the kind of stuff we're expecting as this thing continues today. And again, conditions will, right now, they're as far as the rain, the bands, here comes another very intense bands. These are moving southwest at about 45 to 50 miles an hour. So they're going to continue to increase during the day. And then especially as we get into tonight, we'll get those really heavy bands coming in. That's when we'll start getting those winds, 70 gusts to 100, 110. That's going to be later on tonight, right? That's going to be after probably about 9 o'clock tonight. We'll start getting hurricane force winds on shore sometime around 9 p.m. and after. We'll start getting hurricane force winds here at Vero Beach, Southport. We'll definitely get hurricane force winds coming ashore. There's overwash going into the parking lot right here. That's a really big. Yeah, these waves are pretty unbelievable. After this next outer band hits me, I'm gonna jump back in the car so I don't get soaking when I gotta change over the rain here. One of the things you have to do when you're out chasing hurricanes, you have to put these neoprene gills on, because if you get salt water on your regular shoes and tennis shoes and things like that, they get that nasty smell, sour smell if you don't get them really good, clean and rinsed. So you wear these neoprene and just put water on them and rinse them out real good. They're in pretty good shape. Anybody have any questions this morning? No, I wouldn't say it's hyper exploding. I just say the storms. It's slowly gathered strength this morning on satellite, and pressure's last reading I had was like 980, but that's going to continue. The pressure will fall during the day, anywhere from 10 to 15 millibars, and I'll look for somewhere around a 965, 970 as it approaches the coast tonight. Some of the models have it down to 955, 952. Don't know if it'll go quite that low, but anyway, somewhere in that 970 range with the Cat 1, strong Cat 1 as we get toward the midnight hour. Yeah, there's a big massive surge. Yeah, I'd say strong Cat 1 is probably the most likely scenario at this point. Here come these little wind shower bands, and as they continue to come in here, you'll see the winds dramatically pick up here. Storm surge, 3 to 6 feet, 3 to 5 feet along most of the coast. There's areas above 6 feet, and could even be higher. Let's see. I would imagine with if we got up to Cat 1 or higher Cat 1, the storm surge might increase a little bit. Let's see what those numbers are, but I said 3 to 6 is probably pretty common along the coastline. Like I said, we're passing high tide, so the water will slowly drop as a whole. We still have a large battery waves all day. That's about it right now. It's a heavy storm coming in. We'll head back to the vehicle right now. You can see this is what's going on the beach. There's some overworks in the street here. Nothing too bad. Some rocks and a little light debris. This is where I'm at, Mulligan's Beach House and Bar. They are closed, obviously. We even had some little bit of overwash here. The water's quite cold and wash the sand back. Obviously, that's not real. A lot of people along the coast here coming out. There's a big crowd gathering all the places that don't have big players. You see them back people here, the locals checking out a few tours. The beach, actually, the fair amount of people on the beach yesterday kind of surprised me yesterday morning, but if you're on vacation, I get it. You know, you want to be out here on the beach and the sand. And actually, it was actually a beautiful day yesterday. The sun was out most of the morning. There's some clouds moving in during the afternoon. Overall, it was a beautiful day yesterday. And here comes the rain. Here comes the squalls. I'm going to go back and the car. Completely had people rain suit completely on. Let's go here and look at the satellite real quick. Okay, there we go. There's visible. Let's go to IR and see what we have here. It's not too bad. Right there's a center. It's starting to get a little bit more dense convection. So the models, basically what they do is they move it west here. They're actually moving southwest, west, southwest. As it gets in this area right in here later today and this evening, later today, it really starts deepening another 10 millibars roughly, 970, 965. Depending on the models, and then basically it makes a track like this. It comes in, and then it makes a hard bend right here at the last second, right like this, kind of this here. Basically, where the National Hurricane Center has this track. So you can see everything spiraling in. Right now, we've got kind of lighter bands of convection coming on shore, but as we get into the afternoon and we start getting these heavier bands of precip, this is when we're going to start getting 50 sustain, I guess at 75. And then as you start, obviously, as this outer ring band gets in here tonight, probably around 9 o'clock, could be as early as 7, and somewhere around 9 o'clock, this is when we start getting the damaging winds, power outages, 75 plus, maybe gust to the forecast right now is 75 to 110. Let me see if I can find the NOAA information. I know I have it here. Just got to pull it up real quick. So this is the Milburn office, just talking about the current hurricane warnings today. Of course, 80 to 100% chance of rain. And then let's go to the watches and warnings. You can see there's hurricane warnings along the coastline. You've also got storm surge warning all along the coastline as well, and that's on these outer barrier islands. And it got flood going for the river back here west. Let's see what they say here on the storm surge warning. This is 4:30 local statement. This is going to be coastal St. Lucie, which is approximately where I'm at. They're basically talking about winds 74 gusts to 110. Wind threat has remained steady. This assessment from last night's assessment, prepare for Cat 1, possibly Cat 2 storm force wind. Last minute, completion of things. In other words, get your house buttoned up and articles put inside. They're going 3 to 5 feet above ground level in surge prone areas. That's the storm threat they're looking for. And about 3 feet above, 3 to 5 above ground level is the storm surge. 3 to 6 inches of rain for inland rain, and then they also talk about moderate rainfall. Tornado, somewhat favorable for tornadoes right there. So it's kind of it's kind of standard package that you get with a landfalling hurricane, which is pretty much what we're expecting. And you go to different counties. You got Brevard, Southern Brevard County, 58 to 73-mile-an-hour winds. So it depends on the exact track of the hurricane. You get a bigger wind impact where it's going to make direct landfall. Here in Central Martin County, they're saying 74 to 110. Cat 1, prepare Cat 1 to Cat 2. Storm surge 3 to 5 feet. Again, most of the counties are about the same, 3 to 6 inches of rain. Let's go down here to coastal Volusia County. 65-mile-an-hour winds, 40 to 50, gusts to 65, not quite as high on the winds, 3 feet above ground level in storm surge. And again, it all depends on what county you live in and where it's at. Northern Brevard and Barrier Island, storm surge, 45 to 70-mile-an-hour winds, 58 to 73 gust. So basically, it's pretty much the same for most of the counties, except where the actual eye makes landfall, and then you'll have higher wind impacts in those areas. Here in coastal Indian River County, storm surge warning, peak winds 45 to 60, gust to 80. That's today, and then tonight, life threatening, including the forecast 74 to 110 gust, Cat 1 to Cat 2. And again, storm surge 3 to 6 feet above, 3 to 5 feet above the normal surge prone areas. So it's pretty much the same county by county, all on the coast here. They're depending on exactly where you live, right? So far it's not it's not it's nothing like we've seen with Ian and some of these other big hurricanes. So we're not going to have the troubles we did with the other ones. But again, I think the story at the end of the day with this one is going to be the large battering waves all along the coast, as you just saw. And I think as we go on, it's going to do a lot of damage to the shoreline, all from Georgia all the way across eastern Florida. It's going to be the biggest problems. And then also the tornado threat's going to increase dramatically as we get toward tonight and during the day tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I'm actually thinking the tornado threat's actually going to be a big story as well, right? So I'm going to be chasing tornadoes tomorrow. I think tomorrow could be a very, we'll see how the data unfolds and where this thing tracks and how the dryer cuts in the storms. But in the sense of tornado production, I think this thing could actually produce a significant amount of tornadoes, especially in north central and northeast Florida, in southern Georgia and southeast Georgia along the coastline. I think we're going to have not only water spouts moving on shore, but I think you're going to have some pretty good tornadoes north in the Jacksonville area, northwest of them and north of them, and southwest of them tomorrow, late morning, early afternoon. I think we're going to see a significant amount of tornadoes up there. And I do plan on chasing tornadoes tomorrow up in northern Florida. It's going to be kind of the big story. So I'm gonna end the feed right now. We'll see things change today, and these bands keep coming in. How things pick up, and again, as these heavier bands come in today, the winds will intensify as well, and it'll change with some time. And right now, we're here, kind of in the Vero Beach area, is where we're at right now. So this whole coastline is, large waves, and the conditions will slowly worsen during the day, and we'll get more and more higher winds and higher intense rains and storm surge, and as well as the big battering waves will continue to move on shore, right? So that'll be a bigger problem as the day goes on. Oh wow, that's so I guess the water as it surges underneath it blew out one of the bricks. They undermined it. There's a hole. It looks like it goes down about 2 foot. So obviously some of the water's undermined some of the water underneath here, and it's falling through, right? So these are the kind of problems you start having because they got ripped off. So these are the kind of problems you can have when you all on the coastline. You have things that'll break and give way, and those are the kind of things that you got to watch out for. So it's not too bad this morning, but just a large, big pattern. I think that'll continue throughout the day tonight. Things will slowly get worse as the day goes on. Okay, you can see right now it's winds are 30 and then gusts to 50 when these bands come in. But it's not too bad. All right, guys, I'm gonna let this feed go for right now. That's your last look. Tropical storm Nicole's on the way. It'll be Hurricane Nicole a little bit later this afternoon, I'm assuming. And that's what tomorrow's forecast. And early this evening, I think we should have a tornado. Probably have tornadoes coming in as well. the hurricane will be on its way, and we'll start having some more intense outer bands with tornadoes moving on shore as we get into this afternoon and tonight. All right, guys, that's it for this morning. I'll be in touch with you guys a little bit later. Have a good day. Well, I'm at Vero Beach right now. Vero Beach, Florida, East Coast.